it. Stay away from the buns.
It's 11 o'clock. Time for another episode of Comedians Writing Jokes at Starbucks. I'm your host, Rob Cioffi. I'm here almost every day, as well as legendary stand-up comedian, legendary from the stage, from the TV, and from the film, Bob Nelson. Bob Nelson, though, is not here today. That's not Bob Nelson. That is not Bob Nelson, and Bob Nelson won't be here today, may not be here tomorrow, may not be here for the rest of the week. He's busy doing big star stuff, whatever that is. I think his wife is having him clean out the garage, but he's doing stuff. And Bob, as you well know, if you follow this program, know Bob Nelson, comedian Bob Nelson from HBO and from films. We're not recording, I'll tell you when. We'll lower the resolution because we're having a little bit of an issue here. So what was your question, Bob? I was talking about Bob Nelson being a big part of this show, but he's not here today. And Tim asked me a question.
Why do you mention him every
Because I'm not an idiot. Do I look like an idiot to you? That's Bob Nelson. I'm nobody. He's somebody. Hence, me attaching myself like this to him at every minute possible. We're nobodies. We used to be nobodies. Today is October 27, 2014. This is episode 16. 16. We're up to 16 episodes. And it's a Monday. Weekend has just passed. Had a good weekend. Got to perform the comedy. And about 200 people in the venue I was at. It's the Long Island Railroad car. They let me do it there. They fit a lot of people in there in rush hour. I love doing comedy. Love it. I hope you guys can hear me okay. We got 3 of you watching. 3 viewers watching. Does that bother me? No. You know what? We've had 22 concurrent viewers. I'm joined today, by the way, I'm sitting here with my good friend Tim Thompson. I've known for quite a while. We used to do another podcast buddies. And the always silent but deadly J.J. Boyd sitting next to me right here. And there's lots of things we're going to talk about today. You know what I did this weekend too, AJ? I watched the Eagles documentary. Did you see the Eagles documentary? You see that, Tim? The Eagles. Remember the Eagles?
Yeah, no, they played yesterday.
Not the football Eagles.
Oh.
I'm talking about the Hotel California Eagles. Remember them? Remember them? Yeah, they were good, right? Remember them? I watched a documentary on the Netflix. Boy, did I get it. It was like 17 hours long. They have had quite a career, the Eagles. And it sucked. It was actually 2 parts. The first part was kind of cool because it was the Eagles who used to go out into the desert. Oh, no. The Eagles who used to have to go out into the desert. It's Ghost of Christmas Past. Sit down. Look out. It's the commissioner. The Selden's fire commissioner has just joined us. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, the Eagles, right. The cool Eagles, right, when they used to go out in the desert and drink the peyote tea and take the album covers, shoot the album covers. That was the cool Eagles. And then the corporate, that's the first half. And then there's 4 hours of the corporate machine, license to print money Eagles. And everybody went to the old Eagles shows that started in 1994. Did you ever go to an Eagles show, JJ?
No.
You didn't? Are you an Eagles fan? Do you like Already Home? What's your favorite song? What's your favorite Eagles song?
Oh man, Hotel California always sticks out, even though it's
isn't that a great song?
It's kind of
it's like for if you smoke weed, but really weak weed. It's a good song.
I just never saw was Horse with No Name. That was
if you smoke it homegrown, it's a great song. Otherwise, you stick to Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, or
Doobie Brothers,
or Greengrass and High Times Forever. Remember that one? That was a good one.
Yes.
Anything that was 7 or more minutes long.
That was usually for the DJ to go to the bathroom, I always thought.
Yeah. So that's how I spent my weekend. What else did I do this weekend? Not much. I ate the pizza. I'll bet you know about this, JJ.
What's that?
Have you ever had pizza at Colosio? Colosio Pizza in Port Jefferson?
Oh, I grew up in Port Jeff. We put the emphasis on a different syllable. We called it Coliseo.
Coliseo pizza.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Coliseo pizza.
The big thing is which one was better, Coliseo or Carnival? Because they're right down the road. There was you had one or the other.
If you're a politician, it's Carnival because all the politicians hang out down there. But if we're back again. We're talking about the pizza, which we always do. We always talk about the pizza on a Monday because we're eating a lot of pizza over the weekend, just like everyone on Long Island eats the pizza. Now, I was talking about this last week. I discovered a new pizza. It's an amazing pizza.
What?
You're not going to believe it.
Tell me.
The 7-Eleven pizza.
Really?
7-Eleven pizza. You see it in the ad. You see the window. By the way, one of our sponsors is Double Gulp. Double Gulp.
Bravo.
Drink a Double Gulp. Double Gulp's motto, it's a cry for help. Double Gulp.
That pizza's good. It looks
$5.55 for a meat pizza. Now, not just sausage, not just pepperoni, ham too.
But cat. No?
It's a great pizza. A great pizza.
I'm
$5.55. It's not that good. It's like the DiGiorno's. You ever have the DiGiorno's pizza? Yeah. It's like that, except you don't have to cook it. They cook it for you. And it has the meat, it has terrific bread and sauce, and there's this plastic on it that tastes just like cheese. It's delicious.
Technology is a wonderful thing.
So we have a lot of people watching now. We're up to 3, 5, something like that. And I would imagine some of them are comedians, friends of ours, people that may have be on our Facebook with us.
Very possibly.
And may know about an incident that occurred over the weekend.
An incident? What incident?
An incident that occurred.
Please
elaborate. I'm going to go into a great detail, as much detail as I can. But let me preface this as saying that whatever I speak about going forward in this episode is my own opinion, okay? It's not necessarily fact. As a matter of fact, I'm not very good with facts. But my opinion is based on the facts as I know them. All right? Please, I feel if you think I've said something that is incorrect, please correct me. You can leave me a message here on our little streaming thing on the YouTube. When it's up on the YouTube, you can send me an email if you'd like. You can Facebook friend me and Facebook me if you want to.
He has no ego.
These are my opinions based on facts. So this is what happens. I'm on the Facebook. I'm watching the Facebook, which I'm prone to do. And along the Facebook, you have the timeline, and all your friends, whatever they're doing, like my friend Rob White here. Say hi, Rob White. Come on. Just say hi. Nice to see you. Love Rob White.
Commissioner White. I just wanted to harass you guys because he saw you were here, so.
Hey, are we violating a fire code or something? Because,
no,
okay.
I'm like incognito.
You're a civilian. You're a civilian
today.
today.
I'm hobo today, so it doesn't count. I'm not doing anybody a favor.
Okay.
Like this.
All right. He's here for support. I love Rob White.
He can come to our defense.
We'll go into Rob White, and if one of our new sponsors is Cliff's Tattoo in Selden. If you want a tattoo, you go down and see Rob White. Anyway, you got any ink, JJ?
I got no ink.
Because you're the Jewish guy, right? The Jewish
we're not
guys
allowed
don't
to have
get
tattoos.
You don't get the ink.
No, we're not allowed tattoos. We're anti-tattoo.
Anti-tattoo.
I didn't even watch Fantasy Island.
Isn't that guy from Maroon 5 got the tattoos?
Yeah.
Isn't he Jewish?
But you know what? Instead of when he dies, they're just going to leave him on a street corner. They're not going to be able to bury him.
He's not going to die. He's rich and famous.
Oh,
Did you ever hear the song? I'm going to live forever.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, I'm going through my timeline on the Facebook, and I notice my friend Alan Streisfeld, who I've known for about 8 years. He's a comedian, does the stand-up comedian. Was never really an alpha type guy. You know what I mean? Wasn't one of the like JJ. JJ's a go-getter. He goes and gets. He sees what he wants. He goes get. Alan's more like I'm a laid-back background type of guy. I like doing it. I'm married. I got a kid. There's no other option for me. Either I do this or I'm going to go rob a bank for fun. So he does the stand-up comedy. And he's been doing it for years. And he's not one of these guys that comes around every 6 months. Hey, I'm doing stand-up. He ran open mics.
He helps the young comics out. He tapes them.
He helps the young comics, especially the young. He helps the young single mother comics. He helps them get their start. And then that's I stole that joke. That's a Steve Martin joke. And I don't steal jokes unless they're on my show.
Well, you admitted it, so you're exonerated.
It's not stealing then. It's an example of stealing.
Exactly. You were using it to make a point.
He became, after he did this...
This was dropped off by the guy in the corner. He wrote this and gave me
okay. Yeah, okay. Wait. Yes, okay, anyway. So the guy he's a legit guy. He produces shows. He didn't do it like he wasn't out to produce shows. He just said he saw opportunities, gave comedians paying jobs. Okay, some of these I once worked at a diner.
That was actually a fun gig.
But
I did that.
That was a diner that could seat 100 people.
It had that separate room.
It had a separate room.
Yeah.
This Ben's Kosher Deli. Let me tell you, that joint is a very classy joint. That's on the North Shore of Long Island, the Gold Coast of Long Island. Very wealthy, rich people live on Long Island.
And a lot of people don't want to be disturbed while they're having their knish.
Unless they want to be disturbed by laughter. And that's what Alan Streisfeld aims to provide.
He stands for goodness. He's a good person. When I was in the hospital, he came visiting me. He's a good person.
I know him from comedy. I don't know how good he is, actually. Only God knows. Okay.
I don't know these things.
All right, Alan Streisfeld, as you may know, is a local comedian here on Long Island. He's my Facebook friend as well.
Comedy Cartel.
He
I don't want to work any deli
quite
in this
the opposite.
tri-state area.
You got to go through.
Quite the opposite. And wait, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here. So I'm looking at the Facebook, and I see on the Facebook. Oh, Bob, I'm gonna come down.
You're talking about Alan, and I got the fear.
Okay, all
I don't want to offend him.
Thanks, Bob. See you later, Rob White. Cliff's Tattoo. You need a tattoo. Selden, New York. Anyway, I'm reading the Facebook. And a post by Alan comes by, and it's a post about, of all people, comedian Kip Addotta.
Who's that?
Well, I'll tell you.
Glad you asked.
He's a comedian, and I haven't heard about in quite a while. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm a fan right up front. Before we go any further, I am a big fan of Kip Addotta's work. I'm not making a joke about that. He is an accomplished professional comedian that did remarkable things. He wasn't just a comedian. He has over 1,700 television appearances, including one. No, it's like a Goonie. If once you're a Goonie, always a Goonie. Once a comedian, always a comedian.
It's like the mob.
Now I'm being serious now. Don't joke. He's been on the Tonight Show, multiple appearances on the Tonight Show. He's been on national television. He's been on syndicated television. He was a huge part of a show. JJ, you may remember this show. A show called Make Me Laugh.
Yep.
Was one of the funniest, most fun shows you could watch on television. It was a game show where stand-up comedians would have 60 seconds to make an audience member laugh.
Oh,
they had to try not to.
Comedy Central, right?
And
Comedy Central ripped it off. That was a brilliant idea. And he was like a regular on that. You know how those guys on Whose Line Is It Anyway are regular guys on there?
They had a stable.
He was a stable. He was there with Bruce Baum. You know who Bruce Baum is? Bruce Baum was the guy that looked like David Crosby in the 70s,
yep.
and he did the Baby Man.
Yep.
And that was hysterical. That was hysterical.
A no comic.
And so was Kip. Kip came out.
Hysterical?
He was like, I'm saying on that show. That show is no longer on. Okay? He went on to do many other things. Like I said, he's done many television appearances. He also, I don't know, you may remember this too. You're too young. Dr. Demento. Remember Dr. Demento? On a Saturday, late at night, on a Friday night, fish heads, roly-poly fish heads.
It was part of my youth.
Right. He was a regular contributor to Doc. He wasn't a regular contributor. He wrote some of the greatest novels. At the same time as Weird Al was coming up, this guy owned it. He had a song called The Wet Dream, which actually one of the lines he goes to bring his car in, and the guy says, you've blown a seal. And his line is, I just fixed my car. and leave my personal life out of it. And to think about that for a second, this is in the 80s. He actually got that line onto radio in a top 40 format. He is a hero to comedians.
Not Seals, though.
He is a hero. Hero to comedians. I remember him well. You say Kip Addotta, boom. I say Kip Addotta, any comedian, any working headliner comedian, immediately know who Kip is. Oh yeah, Kip Addotta.
I know the name since, again, we're about the same age. I've known him since as long as I've been alive.
He has entertained me, and I thank you, Kip, for the entertainment you've given me. You've entertained me. I can remember laughing about the seal thing with my brothers and my family. I mean, on Sunday dinner. At church. We talked about it at church. It was funny.
Ooh, that's
Shouldn't
edgy.
talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a Jewish
Did you hear the
kid.
blown seal joke? So and look, he is noted and well. He's an expert in what are commonly called puns, but are more like malapropisms. And a malaprop is a big word, I know.
Aren't
JJ.
those cookies with the marshmallows in them?
Yeah,
I love
they're
those.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
talk about it yet.
Those are called malamars.
Oh, of course I would think
Okay,
food. I'm sorry.
you think food.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, malapropism is what Archie Bunker used to do.
Oh, gee.
I can't think. I think he would make up a word. He would
So-
think. Okay, I have to apologize. We're in the technology here. We are recording from on a public Wi-Fi band. Okay, and sometimes we are going to lose and drop out. So you may have not heard the last couple of minutes of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Kip Addotta and who he was and who he is
Yeah, stop saying
in
it that
the
sentence,
history
yeah.
of comedy.
And apparently he likes Malamars.
He rolls like he's as far as I can tell, and I don't know anything. This again, it's my opinion based on facts. But he has the respect and admiration of some of the top comedians that have ever performed on television or on stage, and
Does Nick Cannon
he's in that area, like the Jerry Lewis era of comedy, and the Saturday Night Live era of comedy.
He was
in
kind of
between
in the,
that.
He was kind of the glue that held those two
like
eras together.
Murray Langston is.
Yep,
Murray
right.
Langston is the unknown comic. And in the 70s, if you watch TV during the day or in syndication or even on night, I don't know if he ever made the Tonight Show.
Oh, yeah.
He should have. All right, we're back again, and we're talking about the unknown comic as being one of the contemporaries of Kip Addotta, Murray Langston, who.
So was
by the
Cindy-
way, did you know this? If you Google Murray Langston.
Bandit.
If you Google Mary Langston,
Yeah.
you know how Google will put the picture up on the right side?
bag.
You know who comes up? No, Frankie Pace.
Frankie Pace, that's right.
Frankie
Oh, that's funny.
Pace
Yeah, yeah.
explains the bag. I look like
Ouch.
Frankie Pace.
Hey
I
now.
look like Hey now. Anyway, I'm just pointing out that this guy is a legit comedian. He is a headliner. In the 80s or 90s, if you and I were looking at the newspaper and the East Side Comedy Club said, this weekend, Kip Addotta,
You
I
were
would
there.
go.
Oh, yeah, you were there.
I would go.
You want to go now?
I don't think he's performing as much.
It's
He
called
lives.
Siberia now, anyway.
So anyway, so I've explained a little bit about.
Performs that?
I explained a little bit who he is, and I can tell you that any comedian would say. You said to me, "Is Kip Addotta a legit professional comedian?" Everyone would say yes.
All right.
I think they get it.
So I'm looking at my Facebook and I see Kip, this thing by Alan. Again, this is paraphrasing because
Now
I
I forget
have.
who Alan S is. We explained.
I
this
have.
last
I
time.
got. I
Tell
explained.
us.
I have the
Tell us, that's right.
I have the self-inflicted brain injury. You know what that? It's called.
Well, it's soda.
It's called the 1980s.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, the Just Say No. I didn't. But it started.
Pop rocks and soda.
It started in the
That's all it was.
1970s and
Swatch
progressed.
boxes.
Yeah.
So my mind is not. I'm not exactly great with the facts. But so I can need. If you want to fact check me, that's great. So I see an Alan's thing that says, "Watch out for Kip Addotta." He wrote this. He did this thing, a video about me, and I don't believe he did this. It's very, very unfair. So I thought he was joking, because Kip Addotta and Alan Streisfeld in the same sentence, it just wasn't meant to happen in this universe. It just wasn't. And all of a sudden, here it is on my Facebook feed. So I, like a curious person, click on the YouTube, and I watch Mr. Addotta's YouTube. Now, he does what I kind of do. He gets the webcam, he sets it up in front. Maybe it's a regular camera, and he does it later. but he sets a camera in front of himself and he talks into the camera like I'm doing now. And he does it. Apparently, he's a late night guy, and he was up late, and he did this in the very early morning hours, and in his apartment on Friday or Saturday. And he went into a 9.5 minute rant. I have to call it that.
A tirade.
I have to call it a rant, Kip. You basically were offended by something that Alan did, and thereby spent a great deal of time tearing Alan down as a person based on what you could find out about him on the internet. And as many of us who have been on the internet for more than a couple of months know, it isn't always true what you read on the internet. And I think you took it a little too far, and I'm going to explain why. Now again, there are elements here that are completely justified in your reaction. Okay? But I don't think they have anything to do with Alan Streisfeld. Okay? Alan Streisfeld has been writing puns and one-line jokes since the early 90s. And he's never done it, and forgive me, Alan, if you're offended by this, you never were professional in the sense that you made your living primarily or substantially from writing these jokes.
It seems like it's sheer enjoyment and the love of the craft.
I would put you in the same category as I am. A hobbyist. I aspire. I would love to be a professional. I'd love for somebody to come in here right now. I'd love for somebody to come in here and hey, you're going to be on the Tonight Show. Get you on, and then I'm coring, and then I'm making money. I get the movies. I'm like the Vic D. Potato. You know Vic D. Potato?
Oh, I love him.
I'm like him.
Kevin Bacon. Put him on top. You got to
Kevin Bacon and Vic D. Potato now in
Sour cream steams.
We're making a little joke, okay? We're making a little joke.
So good.
A little lighten the mood.
We're lightening the mood. You see?
Comedians writing nothing.
Anyway, I watched this thing, and you say a couple of things about Alan that are just incorrect. I think you may have corrected him in subsequent videos. By the way, I am only addressing the video, the 9 and almost 10-minute video, where you. It's something charlatan. There's a title. It's charlatan.
Exposing the charlatan.
Exposing the charlatan. Okay, that's the only one. I know that there are subsequent videos.
That sounds like a porn phrase for the Civil War. I'm going to expose my charlatan now.
Trying to be serious.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's called Comedians Writing Jokes. It's okay.
Very heavy. We're very heavy episode so far.
Hobbyists.
So Kip, and I'm assuming Kip, you'll be able to see this at some point in the future, and you may even want to address a point or two here. And I beg you, there are lots of things wrong about me. Okay, there are a lot of bad things about me. You could go and believe me, I'll give you the numbers of my ex-girlfriends, and they will help you if you really want that. But that's we call that in logic the ad hominem attack. Okay. You can't attack the person if you're trying to make an argument, okay? Unless your argument is that the guy's a bad guy. All right, I guess you could. But Alan, you've accused Alan of being a fraud, maybe not a con man. Again, this is my opinion. I don't remember the facts. But things along these lines, a con man, that he preys upon young comedians who are eager to make a name for themselves by
He's just 8 raccoons in an overcoat. Did you know that?
8 raccoons.
Not real.
I heard he strangles puppies.
He strangles them.
None of those are true. These guys are making
He's
a
a
joke.
cyborg
I'm being
from the
serious.
past.
I'm being serious. I know Alan. You also accuse him of running a comedy school
And a sweatshop.
and preying upon. And believe me, I know that there are these comedy schools out there. There are some guys that run really good ones that really work hard. I'll give you a good example of one. Is Paul Bond. Do you know Paul Bond?
I know Paul Bond
I've
very
seen
well.
Paul Bond work with comedians. He charged them a very fair price, and they work really hard together. And man, he has made some he's helped people really change their acts and get funny out of them. Okay? And there are the other guys. There are some other guys that do comedy classes all over the country. And they take advantage of people thinking, oh, you're going to be, they build up their egos. And they say, yes, you're going to be the next Eddie Murphy. And you're not going
Next Kip.
or the next Kip Addotta. No, they're not going to be the next Kip Addotta. There's no Kip Addotta. Kip Addotta, look,
He's in a class by himself. Let's be honest.
Doesn't like that Eddie
He's
Murphy
not a class like
character,
he's
apparently.
not a class by himself.
A dime a dozen.
This guy would play Vegas. This guy would play Vegas for months at a time. Okay,
He
was a
he
big
set that
guy.
standard.
He was a big guy, and still is very, very. And I'm going to get to a point here where you understand where I'm going with this, right? So anyway, you accuse him of these things, and I can tell you personally, and I'm here to attest that he is none of these things. Okay, he is the most benign background guy you've ever seen. As far as he does not try to get people, he does not do bringer shows. You know what a bringer show in New York? They have these shows where you can get on the show, but if you bring 5 paying customers with you, doesn't do those. Always pays his comedians, always pays them at a rate that is equal to what you would get paid by any promoter in the area or more.
Yeah. And he's a good kisser.
I don't know. He used a little too much tongue with me. Sorry.
He likes you.
He's a very
Jewish
modest man. He's a modest man. And I'll tell you, I don't think he'd mind. He's somebody who cares about people. He's a family guy. He's a religious guy. He does not understand what this attack. I'll full disclosure here. I spoke with Alan over the weekend, and he unfortunately has misunderstood this as much as you have. I think
He's confused.
he feels that this is a personal attack on him, and the fact is, I know what you're doing, Kip. I know what it's about. I've been around show business long enough to understand that this isn't personal. It's show business. Okay? You have a YouTube channel? Great YouTube channel. I've watched some of the things you put on the YouTube channel. I've also noticed that most of your YouTube channel visits over the last couple of months have averaged about 25. And since I'm on YouTube, I also average those numbers. I also know that half of those are me looking at it over and over again because I love myself. I'm adorable.
Frequently.
We're dying to talk. We're just waiting for him to run out of steam.
I am in the background.
And look! Right now, you're at about 700 hits. I would imagine by the end of the week, you'll be over 1,000 hits with this one video. And you know, controversy. People, it's like the car accident on the side of the road. People are going to stop and look, and they're stopping and they're looking at what's going on with you and Alan Streisfeld. So Alan, I talked to him over the weekend. He is genuinely distraught about this. He is concerned that you're affecting his reputation, that people will be wanting to working with him again. And I'll tell you, there are scores of people that will stand with me in saying that I'll work with him at any time, any place, so long as he pays me. And so will many other people. And it's a joy and a pleasure to work with him. Okay? That said. And I love you, Kip. I'm not saying that. I'm not kidding. I really am in awe of things you've done. 2 top 40 hits, 1,700 plus television appearances. The fact that you're on Make Me Laugh drives me. You know, I found out over the weekend. My featured co-host, the guy who's usually here, Bob Nelson, was on Make Me Laugh. And now, I thought I had high regard for him before. I'm not kidding you. I freaked out. You were on Make Me with Baby Man? With Kip Addotta you were on too?
So that's your connection to Kip.
What,
So 6 degrees from
my 6
Rep
degrees?
Chef.
So if Timmy dresses up as a baby,
So I'm only
you'll
2
be
degrees
right?
away from
Yep,
Kip
that's all it
Addotta.
takes.
I'm gonna get you a diaper. There's a store over there.
I brought my own.
Okay.
Anyway. So Kip, here, look, I'm going to give you, there's no way I can give you advice. Because the things I've learned in the short time I've been doing comedy, you learned and forgot and learned and forgot and learned and forgot. Okay? But I want to just remind you about some things, okay? Or maybe bring some things, a perspective you're not getting. All right? The attack thing, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. As you can see, you've got almost 700 hits attacking a nobody. A nobody. This guy is nobody. compared to you. He is nothing. He is nothing. He's zero.
Okay.
He's nothing.
Easy.
All right, come on. Yeah, he is a person.
I'm just being honest.
All right.
Okay? You're Kip Addotta. He's Alan Streisfeld. You can't even pronounce his name. Nobody can. I had to ask him 3 times, how do you pronounce your name?
I just call him Cohen.
I wrote it out phonetically. Streisfeld. Like Barbara Streisand. In my mind, I remember because it's Barbara Streisand tripping off stage. Streisfeld. He's a nobody. He's a nobody, but it worked. You see, now here's the thing to note. It worked. You were angry. People go, wow, that was incredible how angry famous comedian, world famous comedian Kip Addotta got over this nobody. Imagine for a second, Kip. Imagine. I just want you to think about this. Imagine if you aimed a little higher. Imagine if you aimed a little higher. Almost anybody would be a little higher.
Attack him.
But you're Kip
I would
Addotta.
love him.
You're a recognized name in the in American culture. And if they don't immediately recognize you, you go, yeah, you remember the guy who did the blown seal joke? And everybody will go, yeah, I love that song with the blown seal. They will love you. Why aren't you going higher, Kip? You know, Kip, you've been in comedy for 40 some odd years, right? The younger people, and I'm not just saying me. I mean the guys who were on like the Michael Che. You know Michael Che? Who is Michael Che? He's on the Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
The whole revolutionary movement with Che.
Yeah, he's only doing comedy 5 years. He needs some guidance. Okay?
Attack him.
No.
No.
Good. Oh no. Oh,
My
I
point
thought we were
about
onto
I'm going to
something.
talk about who to attack in a minute. My point about it is you should be an example for us. You should be giving us guidance and helping us navigate through the things that are happening in comedy today that you've had experience for over 40 years with. Okay? You need to be, and I know you might have been a little sensitive about some of the things people are saying about your age, but you are an older, you are a mature man, and what we need in comedy today is an elder statesman. Okay? We need somebody to speak for us, who understands
My point of
us.
view. What is that?
No, you're not allowed to.
not yet, okay.
Yes,
I'm going to wait. We got an hour show,
right,
guys.
baby. Yeah.
We have an hour show. We've only lost 5 viewers. I mean, we're going through this. By the way, our guest today is Kim Meyer. Kim Meyer from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Looks just like Meryl Streep, has almost none of the talent, but looks just like her.
You're just ripping on everyone.
No, she's beautiful. I'm telling you, I actually am
He
excited.
kisses up to Kip, but totally rips her apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kip is a
You know,
comedian.
that's why you're so good with the ladies.
I am good with the ladies.
You look like a famous actress.
This is why the
Stupid.
girl spilled Starbucks on her before.
Yeah.
An elder statesman, Kip. And I'm serious about this. You should. I've read. You write a beautiful blog. You do these videos that are great. You had a podcast for a little while. I know you have a radio show, Uncle Kippy, that you're going. You got a deal. You're doing that nationally. You also are writing an autobiography. And I think you're going to the publisher. I think I watched something where you said you're going to the all of these things. By the way, if you go to kipaddotta.com,
Yeah.
you can purchase Kip's DVDs and CDs. And I highly recommend them, especially for you folks who aren't familiar with his work, because he is a master of what he does. And there's no you guys might have different. You get to say your opinion in a second, okay? Kip, we need you. It's not a joke. We need you. We need people like you to guide us, because there are vultures out there. The problem is, Alan Streisfeld is not one of him. He does not have sycophants. Okay?
I had that once. I had a shot. It
Did
went
you have to
away.
look it up? I had to look
No,
it up.
I had a shot. It went
He
away.
does not have
It's good.
blind, loyal
Like
attack dogs. Okay? What he has are some nutty friends who get excited. And that's the problem. I mean, I think that's your issue really, is not with Alan. It's what some of these other people have said. Please don't wash it on Alan. Alan is a good guy. And if you got to know him, I'm sure your opinion would change of him. As a matter of fact,
Alan doesn't control a death squad.
as you
It's a
know,
common rumor.
as you know, or may know, or are about to know, I do this show, comedianswritingjokes.com, 4 days a week, and I would love to have you on the show. Now, I understand you are in Beverly Hills, California, and I'm on Long Island, New York. And
Great, tell them where we are. Great.
logistically,
I gotta go.
that's pretty funny. Logistically, it would be almost impossible, but I also know that you can work the webcam or the telephone even. I would love to have you on the show to give your side of the story. And as a matter of fact, I'd like Alan and you on the show at the same time to work this thing out. Because I don't think there shouldn't be animosity between the two of you. I think there's a mutual respect deep down somewhere. You're both artists. You both like making people laugh. Can we start there? Could we start there? And if you don't want to be with Alan, you can just be on the show by yourself and give your story, and then I'll have Alan on at a separate time. I could do that.
It's time for the healing to begin.
Let's hold hands.
Yeah.
You were there for the
He
LA.
told me.
Were you there for the LA riots, Kip? Okay,
Did
you
he
were
start
there.
him?
He pulled the guy out of the truck.
It was with the brick, right?
Yeah.
Can't we all get along, Kip?
Oh, he's that kid.
Can't we all get along?
Mistake.
I'm serious. I'm serious about that. Go to kipaddotta.com. Get the DVDs. Listen for his new show, Uncle Skippy. And his very funny, not so funny, serious autobiography, I would imagine. His 40-plus years of experience in show business. I bet you there's some great stories in there about people that we like the unknown comic, Bruce Baum. Tom Dreesen is a guy who's like in that era. Great, funny, incredibly funny guy. Talented entertainer. You know what you guys were? You were entertainers. In the 70s, it was like you were trying to be edgy and entertainers. You're doing it.
Keep saying in the past tense. It's messed up.
Because he's a different guy today. He's doing the YouTube and the podcast and the
Entertaining.
books. But he entertains.
Different
I'm talking about that
mediums.
era. That era. I'm trying to explain to you, young guy. You know, that's the problem with you young people.
What?
You don't listen.
What?
You don't listen.
I listened too closely.
Can I give my? I was almost part of this from the beginning. Can I just what I feel? I'm not trying. I don't want
No,
no
he's
attacking.
giving me the hand.
No.
Shut
Okay.
up.
I got. He's having his double goal. I'm waiting patiently.
Okay. So anyway. And Kip, please keep in mind, this is a comedy show. This is not me ranting or doing my blog.
It's
Or
nowhere near a comedy show.
This is a comedy show. We're trying to bring
That's
levity
that.
to the situation, okay? So I'm going to talk to J.J. Boyd. Now, you may remember J.J. Boyd as one of your Facebook friends. Is he still a Facebook
He's
friend?
not my friend. No. What happened? What I feel. Now again, I know who Kip is. I've always known who Kip is. I was just as shocked as you were. I'm reading through this, and I went back to see what was going on, and what appears to me happened is that Alan is a fan of his to begin with too, because Alan friended or asked for a friend request, and Kip accepted him. Now, Alan has been doing, like you said, since the 90s, writing these one-liners, these one-liner little puns. Every day they pop up on my news
And I'll be the first to say, not all of them are hysterically funny.
No, he throws it out there. It's fun. So now what I perceived from my vantage point, being emotionally detached from the situation, is that you accepted him, and when Alan did what he does anyway, you perceived it as someone that came on your thread and tried to one-up you, which he wasn't trying to do.
No,
Not
no
at
way.
all.
No
That's
way.
not Alan. So you, obviously being who you are and having the track record you did, became, I wouldn't say the word incensed, but you were like incredulous. Like, how would somebody dare come on my page and try to do me on my page?
And once again, this is only based on
It's
the
on my
facts that we
feelings.
know.
Yeah.
Right? We only can see so much into what happened.
Now, just as you have said, because I've watched the videos, just as you have said, you have many people who defend you and are behind you. Alan, too, has a lot of close friends who would come to his defense. Just like Rob said, emotional, I'm one of them. We got into it a little bit.
Some are not friends.
Well, those are the paid ones. They're on the payroll. But he's kidding. We, of course, it's all tax deductible. we had gone a little bit, but it kind of dissipated. We don't really have that much issue with each other. But then I started watching the other videos. Again, I just feel that the anger you're displaying towards Alan is from just a horrific misunderstanding of intent. That's the only thing I could see.
One big episode of Three's Company.
That's
going
what it
out
is.
for you guys.
I'll be Chrissy. He can be Janet. You'll be Mr. Furley. All right?
Did you know that in real life?
All right, I'm the most
in
feminine
real
one
life,
here.
Chrissy and Janet were the opposite personalities.
Really?
Janet
Get
was
outta
like
here.
a big.
Slut?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and she was she was a good girl, Suzanne Summers.
All right.
Go ahead. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, so
Fine,
now,
master.
I mean, and it got out of hand. A lot of stuff is perpetrated since this was only over the weekend. It blew up like incredibly big, and it doesn't have to be this.
But wait a second. It does have to be this. I want you to be big, Kip. You're on the right track, Kip.
I'm not
You're
talking
just going
Kip.
after the wrong people, Kip. You're going after the wrong people. There are evil people in comedy, Kip.
Can we have some decaf, please?
I get upset about it because it's true.
Like,
There
not
are
much
people that take
time left.
advantage of
Stop
people
it.
in comedy. You're just going after the wrong one.
There are people
So,
out there.
Yeah, go after Amazing Jonathan.
We've all
He's
seen
easy
it.
now.
He's very sick. Don't even.
But that's why it's easy
Front
to
of him.
target. I
You
don't
talk
know.
about
It's
people who
Jonathan.
take advantage of people. Look,
Give him an example of who to go after.
no, we don't want to do that.
Greg Proops.
Okay, so there's one.
Greg Proops. Did you know that Greg Proops? Many people think that your song "Wet Dream" was written and recorded by Greg Proops. Did you know that?
Blasphemy.
Greg Proops.
Just a name. Proops.
Proops.
You guys are digging your own graves, I'm telling you right now. Don't go after the improv community.
Anyway, so there are
Not
people.
me that one. He was the one that was going around saying, not saying, but that song "Wet Dream" with the blown seal joke, which I love. People thought it was Greg Proops and not Kip Addotta.
Really?
Crazy.
Who said that?
The Napster people. Remember when the Napster was on? And you could get the music from the Napster? Everybody thought it was, instead of it saying Kip Addotta, Wet Dream, it said Greg Proops, Wet Dream.
That's insane.
It was misattributed. And what did Proops do about it? He's big.
Zero.
Well, that's why Napster doesn't exist anymore, because of this era.
Well, that, and I think the lead guy, didn't he allegedly touch young people or
Get
something?
off the Napster because we don't have time to explain it.
All
to
right.
Kip.
Anyway,
Right.
but Kip, I really feel that some of the points you made are true. There are people out there that are absolute vultures and cockroaches who take advantage. I've been in this argument many times. There were some comedians here who tried to. It was a fight I had with some comedians here. They were.
By the way, his other video is entitled "The Cockroaches of Comedy."
Yeah.
I'm patenting that. That's going to be my
That's
tour.
a good tour, yeah.
We're going to do that tour.
So there was a group of young comedians
rip 'em off.
who were
Yeah.
advertising a bringer show in a bar in New York, saying that if you come down and bring people, there's going to be industry. And that's when I finally blew up, almost akin to what you did. I said, how do you dare play on people's hopes and dreams, telling them to come down and do 5 minutes, they're doing comedy less than 3 months, and industry doesn't come down to find
They didn't say
MCs.
which industry.
No. You know
No.
what? I went to one of those. You know what it was? It was the band Industry.
Yeah, see, there you go. So
They
I understand.
stink.
I understand. Easy.
Okay.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Me, I help comedians when I travel. All the MCs and the feature acts that I work with, I have more people that email me and ask me for. If you need my help, I'll give it to you. I don't charge. That doesn't mean that people who do it are wrong. This is just when I'm working, I don't charge my comedians to help
I
them out.
adopted a rescue dog.
And it's a beautiful dog.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful
now
dog.
Now he's my coke mule.
Ouch.
Let's not talk about
Well,
that
no,
anymore.
So that was just
How
a
do you get
joke.
him to swallow the condoms?
Oh, he does as well.
He doesn't swallow. He pushes him in from the other end. But
Animal lover.
is that too much for the show?
Too much.
Too far?
Ask your mom. Ask your mom. Right.
Hey.
Hey.
She's just as furry. But no, I mean, so I understand where you're coming from. I just really feel that Alan is the wrong person to attack. And then you obviously, because his friends started to pile on,
friends.
and an insult beget an insult beget an insult, and now you have this lawn.
Okay, so we're back. And we were offline for a little while. I apologize. Again, we had a technical problem. But
There we are.
there we are. So you were saying, can you recall where you were?
Well,
you
we're
were
gonna
saying something positive about Kip and the situation.
Well, Kip,
and you talk about the other people that
yeah,
are involved.
Kip, like Kip said, he has his followers, no doubt. But just like you have followers, Alan has so many friends, and that he's helped out, and so many good people that care for him. As soon as it got out that there was an issue going on, of course, emotions run high from the get-go, and we got into it for a little bit. You called me, and you. I'm not going to go into who said what first, but I said that I close rooms, and you insinuated that you don't do anything, or whatever it was, and I understand that because I'm an emotional guy. So I said I wasn't going to get into this kind of stuff again. I actually made a pact on Facebook. But you know what? When a friend like Alan Streisfield is maybe due to a misunderstanding is put in the position like this, I had to say something. And then you, like I said, you went after Craig Mitchell, who is a very good person who helped me get started in comedy.
The fat gay guy.
The fat gay guy, yes. And Benny and Nancy Rizzuti, he went.
Okay, so we've been experiencing some technical difficulties.
We're blaming it on Tim.
I apologize again. This is a very low-tech operation, and zero budget. We're working with zero budget, and I'm sorry.
It's low tech, but we're high weight.
We still have 2 viewers, which is great. Thanks for hanging in there. So JJ was explaining that you accused him of exaggerating his importance in comedy because he closes rooms.
And it's true, I do.
You do.
Am I a Kip Addotta? No, I'm not a Kip Addotta.
Not a Kip Addotta.
It's a different time. I came up in a different time in comedy, and I've had to scratch and claw and fight my way through.
But wait a second. I agree that it's a different time, but there are some universal things that all comedians have experienced over the last 60 years or so.
Airplane peanuts.
In show business, and I would say that there's a lot of things, and I was saying this before, Kip can tell us about these things.
I'm sure.
Kip can show us things that we didn't know.
Kip is a treasure trove of information and experience, and we can probably get more out of this working together rather than being adversaries. And like I said, it all stems from what I perceive as a misunderstanding of the initial intent from way back with Alan posting a simple joke that when you post it on your thread as what's going on, if you're a friend of that person,
joke?
I don't know.
I remember the joke. Do you want me to say the joke?
What was the joke?
The Lone Ranger finally got cable. He signed up for the IO Silver package.
Cute, very funny.
Very funny, very cute. It's a regional joke because here in New York, the cable company is called
iOS.
They call it IO.
Yeah, IO.
Optimum. Right? You get internet and cable and everything.
And the silver package, you can get Showtime, and everyone knows Lone Ranger loves Showtime.
And well, no, if you get the Showtime and you get an Indian to follow you around.
That's right.
Yes. So change the channel,
anyway,
Tonto.
It wasn't the greatest joke. I'll admit it. I'll be the first guy to say it's not the funniest joke ever.
But it was
cute.
Made
me giggle.
Yeah. And that's all it was. It was just an attempt
Especially
to write a joke.
Especially when I'm paying that $175 a month for the cable.
That's the joke.
Ouch.
You're a joke, Cablevision.
So I think this was just a knee-jerk reaction on everybody's part, and it just got blown way out of proportion.
Like a
So
seal.
that's like a very good call. You are, man. That beard just totally belies the fact that you are a brilliant mind, man.
That's right.
You look like Serpico on a bad day, but I'm just saying.
Talk into the mic, though. When you're making
sorry.
funny remarks, I'm talking to him.
Wait,
Yell them into the mic.
lean over me, baby. Come here.
I'm not falling for that again.
It's 5 times is enough, I guess. All right. But yeah, so I just feel that this could be worked out. Like Alan said earlier, Rob said earlier, you're an institution, and it doesn't do anybody good to fight against each other. If you truly I like to help young
You did
comics
get a
out.
lot of hits on your videos. I mean, it did help a bit.
It did help a lot.
Oh yeah, well,
And again,
that's human nature.
You got the formula, Kip.
No such thing as bad press.
Instead of 700 views, you could have 7 million views, Kip. And I'm serious.
We could
Tell
form
them how.
We could form an alliance
You
here.
have to aim higher. People know who you are. Use your fame. You could be the Batman of comedy. You could
Use
bring
your power.
justice. You could bring justice and truth And
Remember,
the American way.
remember, with great
Superman.
power comes great
Super-
responsibility.
Super-
Spider-Man.
It's
You guys-
Super Kip. That's Super
no idea
Dave.
what's
No.
going on.
Remember Super Dave?
Super Dave Osborne
Super Dave. He was great.
with John Biner.
We love
This
that.
is again. This is that
That's
era.
Einstein.
That's Einstein's brother?
That's
Yeah.
That's Albert Einstein's brother.
Oh, he was on Arrested Development. Let's talk about Arrested
Albert
Development.
Brooks. Albert
We're all
Brooks.
over the place.
Oh my God!
He
We're
was
like,
also
this is
on
like
Curb.
This is like ADD
Yeah,
theater.
Yeah.
So I just think that we could do more good working together and forming alliance together as compatriots rather than combatants.
It's to bring the comic book, the Justice League of comedy. That's
Meanwhile,
what we could
back in the swamp.
Super friends.
be. Aim higher.
Be super
And I was
friends.
kidding about Greg Proops because he's a very powerful guy.
After he got a message during one of our little breaks. he
That's
said-
why the internet keeps going down.
Yes, Craig. We're not going to touch that again.
We love you.
Look. You know, you may have heard about this guy. He's a young fella. He had some TV. His name is Joe Rogan. Young fella.
Gee, who is that?
Young fella. He's a comedian. He does stand-up comedy. He did
A comedy?
He did the TV show where they ate the gross food.
Fear Factor.
Fear Factor.
Right.
He was on a mission for a while, going around calling out comedians who stole other comedians' material, not jokes, material.
Famously.
Word
went
for
after
word stuff.
Mencia while
Yeah,
he was
Went
on
after
stage.
Carlos Mencia.
Mencia.
Went after
Mencia.
Dane Cook. You may have heard of Dane Cook. And believe me, now Joe Rogan is a household name. He went
That's
after
who
these
she's
guys.
Dane Cook.
He had
There
the
you go.
TV show and everything. It wasn't until he went after these guys. He's got the world's most popular podcast. Go look it up. Why? Because he went after Carlos Mencia.
Well,
Now
You're not going
Mencia-
to you're not going to go. You're not going to go.
more than that.
You're not going to become the most popular guy going after Alan Streisfeld. That's
And
my
Mencia,
point.
and Mencia has said in public because Rogan was upset that he was stealing material left and right, and Mencia was like, "Yeah, well, that's what I do. What are you going to do about it?" So now what happened?
They
Rogan
had a
is now-
karate fight. He went down to the Funny Factory in L.A. and they had a karate fight.
comedy stuff.
Something like that.
Inside voice.
In the Funny Factory. That's kind of funny.
The Funny
Funny
Factory.
Factory. I like that.
So yes, I mean, there's
Let's go to the screenplay.
now Mencia is playing 200-seat Chuckle Huts, and Rogan's doing real well. So do what's right, which is no one here is doing anything that they feel is wrong. You're defending your honor is what you do. You felt encroached upon, and understandably, but you're again, like he says, it's the wrong guy. It's a misunderstanding. It really is.
Yeah. So we're going to wind down here, Kip. I want to thank our audience for putting up with us. We went from 10 viewers to 2. Mostly, I'm hoping for the technical problems, not the fact that we talked about
It's definitely
Kip
technical problems.
Addotta. I want to again extend that invitation. Kip, you're welcome to be on the show. We have to do some arranging to make it happen remotely. We are welcome to have you on the show to give your side of the story. And I want to say once again, I have no hard feelings towards you.
Nor I.
And I respect you and admire
Very
you.
different.
He's too young to know who you are, which is a shame. It's a damn shame. I'm
Look at him.
very
He looks like he
upset.
should be on Deadliest Catch. Don't worry about him.
But the
Sorry, they
truth
didn't.
is,
I went to public school. They didn't teach it about Kip Addotta.
you should have went to Nick at Night School,
Oh,
because you would know then.
I'm sorry.
Once we get off the air, we will school the young Jedi in the ways.
They're gonna strap
the
me down
comedy
and have my
force.
eyes open.
And again,
Clockwork
we'll do.
Orange.
I think again, go to kipaddotta.com. There's a big banner there. You can order his CDs and his DVDs. Check out his YouTube channel. Subscribe to his YouTube channel because he's got some interesting things to say. Also, go to. I don't know who's publishing his book, but he's going to have a book, and he's going to be on the radio, national radio. Uncle Kippy. I hope it's a little like Dr. Demento because where is
possibly.
I
You
think
don't
Dr.
have-
Demento's still on, but he's not on as he.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I wouldn't know where to find him.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna we have friends at the local radio station. We're gonna call and ask them to put Uncle Kippy on, because I'd like to hear Uncle Kippy in syndication.
What about JJ? Where can they go to see things?
Where will
about
JJ be? What rooms will you be closing this week, JJ?
I'm going to be down in Myrtle Beach closing the Comedy Cabana. It took me 8 years to get to the headliner position.
Nice,
So
nice.
worked my way up.
This is
I'm a
the
hard
first
worker,
time,
Kip,
is
just
this
like
the first
you.
time closing? Don't
This
say
is my-
headliner.
This is
First
my
time
first time
closing?
closing that room.
Okay,
I
good.
worked my way up from MC
Good for
to
you.
feature, so
Good for you. How about you, Tim Thompson? You anywhere this week?
No, I decided not to work my way up.
he's going to grow his beard.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
It's nice.
I'll be attending the Tony Landolfi Halloween wedding.
I'm sorry I won't be there.
I'll be making an appearance there. A lot of the comics are resentful because I got to go and no one else did. But I
couldn't make it, so they
I
needed
happen
a
to
heavy
be,
guy.
I happen to be his videographer and have incriminating.
Oh, so you're
Data.
working.
I'm working.
You know,
He's getting
yes.
paid to go
I'm
to the
doing
wedding.
the honeymoon video.
Hubba hubba.
Hubba hubba. If you ever seen Tony Landolfi, you'll know. Hubba hubba.
That's going to take a lot of pixels to cover the wrong spots on
Oh boy.
Oh, come on, let's cut it off. All right,
All right. So anyway,
starting fights.
thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Rob Cioffi, and the way we end this every time is we do this. See
him.
ya. See ya. See ya.